Tonight on the Daily Wrap, Donald Trump visited the southern border today, and he is already making headlines. Secretary John Kerry and others testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about the Iran deal, while angry New Yorkers protested outside of Senator Charles Schumer's office, begging him to vote against it. And New York may be the next state to raise its minimum wage. We'll tell you how much and what it all means. This is the Daily Wrap, live from New York City. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Heather Hansen. This is my lovely co-host, handsome and fabulous.
I like that.
Rick Unger, how was your day?
My day was great. It was a radio day. How about yours?
My day was fabulous. It wasn't a radio day, but there's lots of news that we were both probably trying to catch up on
today.
To Mr. Unger's right, we have Brad Hirschfield, the editor of thewisdomdaily.com. Welcome, Brad.
That's what they say. Good to be here.
And finally, making his first appearance on the Daily Wrap, former radio host and congressional candidate and chairman of Lakeshore Family Sports, Paul Boardman.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Welcome, Paul. All right, everybody.
We'll be gentle.
We won't.
Good. You will be nice. We're playing nice tonight. Let's get right to the Daily Download. So Donald Trump made a visit today to the southern border, and of course there was controversy. The union that represents the border agents changed the plan at the last minute and decided not to participate in the event. Trump had an explanation for why he believes they pulled out.
They're petrified and they're afraid of saying what's happening, and they're the ones that invited me. They wanted to give me an award, and the Border Patrol, they're petrified of saying what's happening because they have a real problem here, and I'm talking about on the whole border. And they invited me, and then all of a sudden they were told silencio, they want silence. So it's a problem that we will get straightened out. If I win, believe me, we'll get things straightened out.
Rick, I thought that the whole plan for him to go to Laredo was to be with the border agents. What do you think happened there?
Well, yeah, but this started yesterday. You know, when this first came up, he actually went on television and said, actually, they're honoring me, and there's going to be thousands there. Today, he gets on the airplane and finds out as he's getting on that the union went, no, wait a minute. We never said we were honoring you. We're not endorsing you. And since there seems to be some confusion over this, I don't think we're going to be involved. Now he says he was going to get an award. You know, why can't he just go there and see what's happening at the border?
Well, I think that there's something else that he wanted from it. And I sort of got the sense from the locals that maybe the local union, maybe there was some discrepancy between them and the national union. What do you think about that, Brad?
Look, there may have been. We shouldn't make too much of it, because the truth is that same union that extended the invitation and withdrew it has made the same invitation to Ted Cruz, and it's still in place. They didn't want to be exploited. The union is on record. The border is out of control. Something has to be done. They want that conversation to happen. What they don't want to do is become pawns in one candidate's race. They want to be about an insecure border, and that's actually what it should be about.
Well, the difference is Ted Cruz didn't stand up and say, yes, they wish to honor.
They're honored. Well, that's the point, right? They placed them seriously.
He's the first candidate to have made it there, I think, right? Yeah. And what did you think about his speech there?
Who, Ted Cruz?
No,
Trump's?
Trump's today.
You know, from what I saw, I was actually doing the radio when he was there, but I was watching it in front of me. From what I could see, he didn't so much give a speech as answer questions.
Right, for the most part, it was a press conference.
So, and what drove me crazy,
he changed policy.
What drove me crazy was they wouldn't put the camera on the other side. I wanted to see who was there and how many people were there.
Right.
And because you know Trump's going to say there were 75,000 people that showed up there. All of them were legal.
And in defense of the process, this is a process, and we're raising the awareness of the issue. So I'm all about that. As long as it raises the awareness of the issue, and through this election process, decisions are made, that's what it's all about.
So that part I think is true, but he did change policy. I think that's what you were alluding to, because we were talking about it earlier. The guy who's going to build the wall and then make Mexico pay for it, when asked today after city manager Jesus was invoked, said, no, we don't need a wall. We'll need a wall in certain parts. He said, in parts we'll need a wall, but we don't need a wall. And they said, well, and who's going to pay for it? He said, I'll get into the details after I'm elected president. Because Jesus said so.
hurt the GOP ultimately?
It's the best thing he could do for the Republicans. He needs to keep it up. He needs to
In your unbiased opinion.
He's going to save his party. And you know what will really save his party? If he decides to go third-party candidate. Then the Republicans are a shoo-in.
But before we get to the third-party thing, I do think it was interesting. A Univision study, a Univision poll, said that most Latinos, I think 61%, said that Trump's opinions are Trump's opinions, and they don't reflect on the rest of the party. And I think that that is probably appropriate. Paul, what do you think
how
about
could that be? I mean, you're in a marketplace, and he's winning in the polls. I mean, there's a voice for what he's saying. Forget about frustration. Forget about anger. It's not about that at all. Do you think people around the lunch table talk in a civilized way about politicians? No. They use graphic language much more than his. So, you know, have at it. It's a competition. It's a competition for ideas, and there's a marketplace for what he's saying.
It's completely about frustration and anger. Just as Bernie Sanders, by the way, on the other side, is completely about frustration.
Maybe not anger,
Have
but
you seen our comments?
To the extent that calling voters angry is an insult, I agree with you. But the frustration factor
is frustration that nobody's talking to them, and he speaks their language. So he talks the way they talk.
Right.
That's what's different.
Right.
And the other candidates do not do that. They don't talk the way the way the people talk out there. There's 350 million Americans, 200 million at least, you know, sitting around the lunch table talking that way.
Without a doubt, but he, no matter what you say, he's definitely a headache for the Republican Party. As the first debate approaches, some have tried to come up with a plan to marginalize the Donald. One idea discussed at the Republican Governors Association meeting in Colorado was to have Governors Jeb Bush and Scott Walker and Senator Marco Rubio refuse to attend the first debate if Trump is included. Senator Rubio told Fox he doesn't think Trump is even dignified enough for the office.
I don't think that the way he's behaved over the last few weeks is either dignified or worthy of the office that he seeks. We already have a president now that has no class. It is important for us to have a presidency that restores dignity and class to the White House, and I don't believe that some of the language that Mr. Trump is employing is worthy of the office. I just do not.
Right. Brad, what do you think of this idea of boycotting the debates? Do you think that would have, it sounds like it sort of has petered out, but do you think that would have gone anywhere?
I think it's flamed out. I think it was a terrible idea, and I think it was to their credit that they said no. I'm with you on this, Paul. It is about a competition for ideas at the best of what an election can be, and boycotting him is a terrible idea for two reasons. First of all, people should never confuse failing to show up with a victory. It's not. It's a default. That's not a victory. And the other thing is, he would have simply gone out, bought time, and done his own one-man show, which is what he's all about anyway. If you really don't like this guy, debate him and beat him.
And beat him.
Right. But that's a difficult thing to do, I think. I mean, I know that...
Hey, man up, woman up. I mean, you know, let's do it. Let's have the debate.
I agree, man up, woman up, but the problem is he changes the rules. And so even for, I think that the debate, the moderators are going to have a very difficult time because they're going to have to try to keep him under control so that they can really get to some policy questions.
Being completely serious now, it was a terrible idea. And those guys weren't stupid enough to go for it because you would only harden the base of Trump's supporters. But I got to say, you know, Paul, your comment that it's about ideas, I wish it was. I really do. Even on that side, it's not. Donald Trump, I mean, you really have to work hard to find where he has put forward policies, and those are the ideas. He's definitely put forward complaints that register with people. I'll agree with that.
And last
but
week
where
he
are
talked
the
about
policies?
the Veterans Administration.
What's he saying?
But it's been in the public.
No, but he's talking about, he's raising the problems. You're right.
We have to do that.
Where are the ideas to solve the problem?
And that, I think, will come later. It comes in the debate.
But you're saying it's supposed to be about the ideas.
Well, we have a long process here to go. By the end of this election, we've got to have a public policy that moves forward for the country, period. That's what we're here to do.
Other candidates are giving us ideas.
All right. Well, guys, it's not just the GOP that Trump has issues with. The media, the mainstream media, is giving him a little bit of flashback as well. Watch as sparks flew during an interview with Anderson Cooper yesterday.
All I know is I have a very big group of support. And I think one of the reasons is that, let me tell you, the people don't trust you and the people don't trust the media.
Right.
And I understand
and politicians.
why. You know, I've always been covered fairly accurately because it was usually a financial press. And, you know, numbers are numbers, okay? And my numbers happen to be great. Right. So I was always sort of treated like fair. With the media, it's, in not all cases, some of the political media is great and really honest. Even if they don't want to be, they're really honest. But I find that 60–70% of the political media is really, really dishonest.
What do you think, Paul? You think that the media has been less honest when it comes to Trump than they are with the other candidates?
Well, I think that he, like I said, he resonates out in the public. There are people that want to hear what he has to say. You shouldn't change the debates just because someone has a different opinion.
The only thing the media is giving Trump is the most free advertising I've ever seen for a candidate, as we're proving now.
Absolutely.
We'll find out more about this when we come back a little bit later. Thanks very much. This is Newsmax TV. Thanks a lot.